Video, we will cover how to rate headlines and graphics. Now that you've rated the expression and veracity of the overall article, let's rate the headline and graphic. The reason we rate the headline and graphic after we read the article is because we want to see if the headline and graphic match up well with the article. When they don't match, that is a really big indicator of lower reliability. In our methodology, when headlines and graphics score low, the whole article scores quite low as well. The reason why is because studies show that headlines and graphics are seen by a much wider audience than the actual article itself. Low quality headlines and graphics are often crafted specifically to get people to click on them, and as a result, they can be quite misleading. Let's start with the graphic scoring scale. Graphics can be good or bad quality in many ways, but the primary aspects we are measuring are relevance and fairness. Relevance goes from very relevant at 1 to so irrelevant it is false down at 5. And fairness goes from very fair, that'd be a 1, to very unfair, that'd be a 5. An example of something that would be 1 for a graphic would be something that's timely, relevant, it conveys the subject of the story, it's straightforward, and it conveys the importance of the story and is fair. Something that you'd want to rate 2 as a graphic would be something that conveys or evokes some analysis or conclusion, but not unfairly. It's maybe less relevant than something that you would rate as a 1, but it's still acceptable. A graphic that you'd rate as a 3 would be a graphic that's just not timely or relevant, or it's not reflective of the story, or maybe it conveys some unfairness. For example, a slightly unflattering picture of a politician, a stock photo that reflects stereotypes, those would be a 3. Something rated as a 4 for a graphic would be a graphic that conveys some overt unfairness or is misleading. For example, a very unflattering picture of a politician, unfair focus of the picture in relation to the story, or having it not be about the story. Something you'd rate as a 5 for a graphic would be something that conveys extreme unfairness, something that's very misleading as to the content of the article, or it actually falsely represents the subject of the story. Next, let's move to the headline scoring scale. Headlines are scored by taking into account the relevance and fairness scales that we use for graphics. So you want to consider those same things. But we also want to consider the veracity and expression scale that we use for all text that we use for our articles. As I mentioned in the previous videos, veracity and expression are the two main things that we want to take into consideration on the overall reliability scale. Naturally, part of what we're looking for in the headline and graphic are the veracity and the expression of the headline and the graphic. As a recap, here's what our veracity and expression scales cover. A 1 for veracity means it's true, meaning it's easily provable and widely accepted. A 2 for veracity means it's mostly true, mostly provable and mostly accepted. A 3 for veracity means it's neither true nor false, meaning it's neither provable nor disprovable and it's subject to debate. A 4 means it's mostly false, meaning it's mostly disprovable and the facts disproving it are mostly accepted. And 5 for veracity means means false and easily disprovable, and the facts disproving it are widely accepted. When we're looking at expression of the headline, 1 is presented as fact, 2 presented as fact with some analysis, a 3 is analysis, a 4 is analysis with some opinion, and a 5 is opinion. Go ahead and rate the headline and graphic on the slider from 1 to 5 based on the above scales that we discussed. Remember, we're taking into consideration relevance, fairness, veracity, expression overall. And now that you've read the whole article, you can do your most important final check, which is to determine whether the headline and graphic match the article. If they do, the headline and graphic can remain between 1 and 3, if that's where you rated it. If it's misleading or worse, though, it should be rated lower, like a 4 or a 5. text, headlines, and graphics.